Welcome friends, welcome back to Cocktails After Dark. There won't be a cocktail today. Today, Julie and I are going to do a blind tasting of different brands in the orange liqueur category, broadly known as the Curacao category. So I've got 9 different Curacaos here, or orange liqueurs. And I've put a number on the bottom of the bottle, and I've put a number on the bottom of the glass, and I've left a tag here on the side of the glass that is unnumbered. I'm going to pour a little bit in each glass, and then I'm going to mix them around. I'm going to get rid of the bottles. Julie's going to come in, mix them around, and then write a letter on each glass. And we're going to attempt to do this blind, although doing it blind is going to be a little bit difficult because obviously the color is going to give a few of them away. Now, if you want to be really safe, you would call this category orange liqueur. The deal is it's all based on a category known as Curacao. And Curacao comes from the island of Curacao. It happens to be in the Caribbean, just off the coast of Venezuela. It is an island that was first Spanish, then it was English, and then it was Dutch. And this liqueur seems to have sort of come forward at a time when nobody really knows when. The early history of this beverage is so muddled. I've read so many different things. But the only thing that I sort of have got a handle on is I found a newspaper article from 1849, and I'll put that up at the end of the video. And in that article, it talks about how this beverage was originally made by the slaves who worked on the island. So the island would have been a big producer of sugarcane and cotton early on. And so the orange was brought to this island by the Spanish, and it is essentially the Seville orange, an already bitter orange from the south of Spain. They bring it to the island, they plant it, they think that it's going to be a great plantation. But the oranges don't take to the soil very well or the climate, and they are so bitter that they're useless. So the orange groves are abandoned, left out there, abandoned. They're inedible. The story goes, or the story that's presented in this article in 1849, is that the slaves start peeling the oranges because the peel was still fairly sweet, and distilling it to make a liqueur for their own use. So if they were distilling it for their own use, they were probably using sugar cane as the distillate. So it would be rum and this orange peel with some of the sugar added in later to make it a liqueur. Story goes that the Europeans sort of stumble across what the slaves are making, and they take it back to Europe. And by the time this article is written in 1849, it would appear that all of the commercial Curacao being sold is being manufactured in Europe, mostly from bitter oranges grown in Europe, not on the island of Curacao. Of course, all of this is disputed. All of it is disputed, just like every story about liquor, completely disputed. So the first commercial version of Curacao seems to be made by the Bols Company, and I don't have a bottle of Bols because it's not sold currently where we live. There is a company still on the island of Curacao that makes Curacao, but they started their company post 1849. So they came along after this had already progressed quite a ways. Cointreau was founded in 1849 as well, but originally their label said Curacao. And because Curacao is a place and the name can't be trademarked, it can't be owned by anybody, and it's become the name of the category, Cointreau removed it from their label, completely removed it from their label, and labeled it Cointreau so that they could elevate themselves beyond everything else. But probably the most famous Curacao right now is this one, and it is also made with brandy and cognac. So I'm going to mix these up. Not that it's really going to do much good for some of them, but we'll mix them up. Julie's going to come in, she'll mix them up again, and she'll label them, and then we'll do a blind tasting. And we'll talk a little bit more about Curacao and orange liqueur as we go along. Okay.
Hey friends, my instructions are to mix these up and put letters on them. I wasn't expecting this many colors. I forgot how many colors there were in this particular. Enough? All right, there we go. All right, Glenn. Glenn. I don't know how to yell out. Welcome to the kitchen, Glenn.
Okay. So in our very unscientific way, I mean, obviously, some of them are the same color. The blue ones are going to be, I mean...
I know that it's because I didn't pour them out, and I'm trying not to look.
Okay. So here's the deal. Blue comes about in around 1910, and it's just blue food coloring. And in a lot of our cocktail books from 1920 and 1930, there are entire chapters dedicated to blue cocktails. This was all the rage at one point. Blue.
Having blue cocktails.
Having blue cocktails. Again, the orange is also just food coloring. The blue and the orange would have started out just clear. These two have that color because they've got cognac in them that would have spent time in a barrel.
Okay.
So, taste them, rate them on sugar, whether the orange tastes real,
Okay. So how sweet they are?
how sweet they are, and which one you think you would sip and which one you think would go into a cocktail. A to H.
So I need to, is there a system? Like, is it a 3-star system kind of thing? Or just like,
Yeah.
am I overthinking?
No, let's go 3 stars. Let's go 3 stars.
Okay, and just reminding me is whether it's sweet?
Yeah,
Sweetness?
the sweetness, whether it's too cloying, whether it's balanced with the alcohol level, and whether
Whether I would drink it straight
whether
up.
you would drink it straight up.
And if the
does
orange-
does the orange taste real or does it taste...
Okay,
industrial?
sweetness, orange, and drink or not drink.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I just start?
Yep.
All right.
And this is not scientific.
No,
I mean, this is...
I'm going to start with C.
It's completely subjective.
I have no idea. I have nothing to compare it to yet. I feel like I'm going to have to come back to that one.
Yeah.
I'll do that one last. I'll come back to it. Tea.
Yeah.
The palate cleanser of champions. Clearly, I don't know what to say. It's interesting because it's not necessarily the measure of sweetness, but whether it's sweet with a strong alcohol, like that. You know how alcohol has that, like a raw alcohol has that kind of.
Yeah.
So some of them have, like of the ones I've tasted, some of them have that. Some of them don't. Like, I don't want to keep tasting them because then I'm in trouble. All I can really determine about that one is I wouldn't drink it.
Yes.
Maybe no. Definitely no. If the question is, would I drink it straight up on its own?
Okay.
If that's the question, then that's not
not it?
Not for me anyway.
Okay.
I've all gone through almost all my tea. It's just been so sweet.
Very
It's,
sweet.
it's tough to.
Some of
to-
them are very sweet. Yes.
It's hard to get the flavor out of your mouth.
Okay. Which ones from you are a hard no?
For me to just sip.
No, flavor-wise, what is just horrible? It was awful. You would never put that anywhere near you ever again.
There's something about that one I'm not that fond of.
Okay.
I can't quite put my finger on it because it has a really good orange flavor. And it has a really decent orange flavor to it, but I think it's just something that I think it would mix better with other things.
Okay.
It's something but I don't think I'd drink that one.
Okay, so Julie says no to H. Interesting.
This was an absolute no. B and H were the ones that were like,
Okay.
no, not those two.
So for me,
These ones were this one and this one was just too sweet for me. Like, and that's a bias, I think, more than if you wanted a super sweet something.
so for me,
I didn't write anything in D, so it's probably a no. I forgot.
for me, C and D were a hard no.
And this one was just super sweet.
Really sweet.
Like, it also said that it had a very decent orange flavor, but it was just too sweet for me.
Really, yeah, very, very sweet. I said the orange was okay.
Yeah.
And C and D tasted the same to me, and I think I know why. B, I gave a hard no as well. It had a weird orange flavor, like a really industrial, fake orange flavor. Which one did you think was the best?
This one. I liked F.
F.
It was one that was not super sweet, but had a fairly decent orange flavor.
Okay.
So
I rated F and A as my favorites.
yeah, so there's just something about A. And I can't quite it's something about the nose of A that as I put it towards my mouth, there's something and that just might be me. Mm-hmm. Right? Everybody, that's that thing, eh? Everybody's different.
H. H is okay, but it has a hot alcohol, which would make it better for mixing.
What do you mean by hot alcohol?
High alcohol. It has
high
a
alcohol.
high alcohol content, which would
Does this one also have a high alcohol
it does.
content?
Yeah, I feel that it does.
And that might be what it is that is
Yeah.
is that I don't like about it.
So
as something that I'm sipping.
But for mixing, those two, A and H, I think would be best for
Because
mixing.
I did say it had lots of orange and not super sweet, which is something I liked, but there was something about it, and I couldn't. And it
it's
might be
hot from the alcohol.
content would explain it, and that might explain why I also had the same opinion about H, depending upon what it is.
Okay, so let's take a look. I know for sure that C and D. Well, C is they're those two from
These two?
right there. Yeah.
Matching.
D is number 6. Is it number 6? Yeah. So that's these two.
7.
Edmond Briotet, made in France. They're 25% alcohol, so it's very low on the alcohol, not great for mixing. It's not going to stand up in a mixed drink.
But that being said, we both said that they were, if you really like something sweet.
Yeah. So it's water, alcohol, sugar, extract of bitter orange, and citrus.
Well, I can match this one up. Without looking, this one's easy to match up. The other.
Colorants and citrus, yeah. So G. You know what? I didn't have an opinion about G that was...
I said it was super sweet, and it had a very low orange flavor.
Yeah, but it wasn't... It didn't...
But that super sweetness kind of made it, yeah, you could drink it.
Yeah.
But I have a yes. I have put a question mark beside my yes. I wasn't quite sure.
So waters, and then it says sugars, sugar, glucose, fructose, so it's high fructose corn syrup. Alcohol, natural flavor, malic acid, and brilliant blue. So this is where we live. This is the budget brand.
It is the most common that you see it. Yeah,
You see it
everywhere.
You see it everywhere. When you go to the LCBO, it's the budget brand. It's the one that's behind the bar at those places where you just go to get hammered. You know, when you're 19, you're just going in.
I'm like, do you still do this a lot?
No.
You just go out and
When you were 19, that's the one that you saw at, those clubs. Okay, so moving on.
All right, so this
E. What was E?
This one's Z? N? What is that?
2.
Oh, 2, they're numbers.
Yes.
Sorry, I got confused. Sorry, I forgot that
So that must be this one. 2.
Okay.
So that's that one. Cointreau. We both rated that. I rated that very high. Julie said it was too hot, and it is too hot. It is was 40% alcohol by volume. So it would seem a lot hotter than these ones that are in the 20s. This one is 15% alcohol by volume. B, weird. It was weird. Yeah. So this is no name triple sec. This is below that at the LCBO, and you don't often see it in a bar. There's no ingredient list on it, so it doesn't even tell you whether it's real orange or not. And it's called triple sec. And if you read the article that I'm going to put up from 1849 at the end, it sort of describes what triple sec means, and it's triple bitter. So it's supposed to be super bitter. But it's still a version of Curacao. And it's not bitter. It's just weird.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I
weird.
didn't even rate it in sweetness. I wasn't really sure where I was.
What's the number on that?
I've forgotten already. 5.
5. So that's this one. E, I said very sweet, low orange. No, not something I would drink.
Yeah, both sweet. I had an okay orange flavor to it to me, but
Water, sugar, alcohol, natural flavoring, bitter orange extract, and natural lemon flavoring.
oh my.
So it's made from extracts.
So this one's 3.
3. That's F.
So that's the one I really liked.
F. Yep. So this is fairly new to the market. This is fairly new to the market. It's the Curacao that if you watch YouTube and you watch the YouTube bartenders, this is the one that they always grab for. So it says that it uses the peels of Curacao oranges blended with brandy, unaged brandy, and Ferrand cognac. You know, and it says that it's rich and balanced. I mean, it actually is rich and balanced. It pretty much, what the liquid in the bottle is pretty much what they say on the label. This one's a pretty nice one. I'm good with that one.
I'm assuming this one then is
Number 1?
number 1?
Number
Yep.
1. So H, that was one of the ones that I rated the highest, and it's Grand Marnier.
I didn't like it, but I may not have liked it. Is it also a high alcohol?
Yes,
So that might be the same reason that I wasn't fond of this
yeah.
one.
So this one's
the
40. That one's 40, and this one is also 40. So these three, the Grand Marnier, this one, and the Cointreau, I think would do better in cocktails.
Yes, because the question was whether or not I would just
Yeah.
drink it.
Yeah.
And so I would not just drink this. I would not just drink this. I would sip on this, but probably not a huge amount because they're all sweet.
Liquor made with cognac, 51% cognac, so the rest of the liquor could be anything. Essence of wild tropical oranges.
That's kind of a vague statement.
Very vague. And most people would not say that this is a Curacao. If you say this is a Curacao, they look at you and go, no, it's Grand Marnier.
But it fits in this
It fits in this category perfectly.
profile
Yeah.
of sweet and orangey.
Yep. So I think if you were okay, so let me break this down in my brain where I stand on this. If you're making
Let me get into listening mode.
if you're making super sugary at the cottage blender drinks and you need an orange liqueur, you know, these would work.
You can choose anything.
Yeah, because it's not about if you're making a lowball cocktail where there's only 3 ingredients and you can't hide anything. Really, I would stick to these two. And if you want the orange liqueur to stand out, I would use this one. Like if you want it to jump forward and sort of be that forward tasting thing. And there's so many that we don't have. I mean, this is just what's available to us at the LCBO, where we live.
With a bit of searching.
With a bit of searching, I mean around Toronto, a bit of searching around Toronto. We didn't have an opportunity to drive to Montreal, where if we went to Montreal, there's, you know, another half dozen that are available. And crossing the border right now to go to Buffalo is
not an option.
not really an option. So, you know, there's another half dozen that we could have gotten from there. And so there's a bunch more out there. There's only one that's still made on the island of Curacao. And going there to get it is an impossibility again. And it's even hard to get in the United States. Apparently they only import like 300 bottles a year. Like it's
And
not
they're probably already spoken
they're
for.
already spoken for. So
Someone in the know has already bought them.
has already got them. So let us know down below, you know, which ones you have on your bar, which ones you like, which ones you use, and maybe there's a brand that we don't have that we could search out that, you know, you think might be better than one of these. But this is a great way to to figure out what you like, is just to taste them blindly. If we were doing a true blind taste test, the light in here would be red so that we couldn't see any color.
Any of the colors.
That we'd be essentially blind to all of the colors. It would all look the same, and we'd only have flavor to go by. Does that make sense?
Yes?
Did we help you?
Or just confuse
Or
you
just
more?
confuse you even more?
Because really, it comes down to what makes you happy.
Yeah. So I'm yeah. I guess I'll continue grabbing the 2 bottles that I always grab to make cocktails. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.